Hi, I'm Jenny Miller of Let's Get Sewing. Are you ready to take the fear and frustration out of your sewing experience and finally get sewing? Then you're in the right place. Be sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any of my tips and tutorials. And check out the caption too. There's a link to my website where you can find out more about my course, Conquer Your Sewing Machine, and future courses that I have coming. And now, let's get sewing. Today, I want to show you 3 tools that will help make your sewing a little bit more efficient and a little bit faster. Now, of course, the goal is never to sew as fast as we can and get a project done. Well, unless we're under a really strict deadline. But these are things that work really well to make a quality garment, but make the process a little bit easier, a little bit less frustrating, and get through some of the tedious stuff so that we can spend more time on the sewing and the creating. So let me show you these 3 products. The first product that I want to show you are these sewing clips. Now I have these in kind of a medium size. They are, I believe they are, yes, 1-inch clips. They come in, I think, like 1/2 or 3/4 inch, all the way up to a couple inches long. Also, you can get some that actually slide under the presser foot while you're sewing. I don't have any of those to show you, but I do want to get some to try because they're a really neat idea. But I decided to get a few of these clips to try, and I thought they look so tiny and so flimsy, they can't possibly hold anything in place as well as a pin. I was wrong. These are actually very firm and a very tight clip when they work. Now you can use them for just about any time you need to pin things together, but they're especially good on bulky fabrics and things like zippers where pins can distort the fabric when you pin. So if you notice, I've put a pin in for this zipper, and as the fabric comes along, you have a bulge where the pin is, and it doesn't sit quite as flat, which is not a huge problem, but of course, being a little bit faster and a little bit more accurate is always a good idea. So you just take the clips, they have a flat side, and that's the side that needs to go down against your sewing machine throat plate, and you just clip them onto the seam allowance, and you can see then there's no distortion in that fabric. It holds them nice and flat, and you can go right under the sewing machine with your clips. So the clips are great for a variety of purposes, but bulky, thick fabrics, anything with a batting or a thick stabilizer inside, zippers, they're really good for those things. The next item I want to show you, I am fairly new to. We got these into the fabric shop where I work, and I tried it once and had to get one for myself. Now, when it comes to taking measurements of yourself for your garments, it's really hard to get a good angle and make sure that you've got the measurements correct to hold things around an arm if you need a bicep measurement, that type of thing. And that's where this tool comes in. This is a measuring tape. You can hear it works like any other little retractable measuring tape, but it is made to measure around, I'll hold the button so it's not so loud, measure around the circumference of your body. If you look at the measuring tape, it starts here at 2 inches. The reason for that is the first and second inch are inside the this case here. And you'll see why in just a second. So if I was to put this around my waist and take a measurement, now I would never measure myself in a top like this. I would wear either underwear or something a little more form-fitting. But I'm just wanting to show you how this works. You bring the tape measure around, and this little end slides into the slot at this end. And so it starts here at 2. Remember, we had 1, 2, and then it just goes on 3, 4, and measures around the body. Then I'm going to push the button and retract it. Then I can stand in front of the mirror, make sure that I have it where I want it, make sure that I've got my measurement level. It's kind of holding things together here for me. And then when I take it off, I can see exactly what my measurement was right here at the edge of, or the end of the tape. So this is a great tool for that kind of thing. Again, if you needed to take a bicep measurement, for instance, you can just slide it up your arm to that point at which you would get a bicep measurement, and then click the button. Make sure you've got everything level where you need it, and then remove it and you get a bicep measurement. So a great tool for getting your own measurements when you don't have someone to help you with that. The last tool that I want to talk about, I've done an entire video on this before, and so I'll put a link to that video in the comments, but that is my magnetic pattern weights. Ever since I discovered this system, I rarely pin patterns to fabric when I'm cutting out anymore. I have a galvanized piece of metal underneath my cutting mat, and these magnets, you can hear it, I'm sorry it's not on the camera, they stick to that mat perfectly. They hold everything in place for me when I'm cutting out. Easier than, trying to grab my water bottle to hold things down and grabbing a tape measure and my cell phone to hold things down as pattern weights. And certainly faster than pinning all the way around and then removing all of the pins. I lay out my fabric, I lay out my pattern, and I magnetize everything down. So be sure to check the link to that video in the description if you want to know more about the magnetic pattern weight system. I'll also put some affiliate links for the clips and for the tape measure. It's called the body self-measuring tape. I'll put the links for those. They will be associate links, which means if you purchase them, I just get a little bit of money from that. But I will put that in the comments as well so that you can order them and make your sewing a little more efficient. So go ahead and give each of these different things a try. Let me know in the comments if you're already using some of them or which ones interested you the most. I'd love to talk to you about them, see how you like them, or let you know any more details or questions you might have. So post any of that in the comments. Be sure to check out my links in the description. And now, let's get sewing. Thank you for joining me today. My goal is to take the frustration out of your sewing experience, and so I hope my tips are helpful. Feel free to comment with any questions or ideas you may have. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Now, let's get sewing.